Welcome to Beyond the Boundary as we move another day into the Border Gavaskar Trophy at Melbourne. And it turned out to be a nightmare at the end of the day for India as India were 5 wickets down and Australia suddenly had the upper hand. It looked as if Australia were cooking throughout the day and waiting for that one break point where or the entire Indian innings to reach at a melting point, and that's what happened. And suddenly, in the third session, everything changed around where India looked quite good in terms of building up partnerships and moving towards Australia's 474. But then, a lot has changed in the last session. Let's talk about it. And to discuss on Beyond the Boundary, I have some very fantastic panelists. Let's try and find out what went wrong, who went wrong, and where on this episode of Beyond the Boundary. Also request you to kind of send your comments and views on everything that has transpired at the MCG. So let's welcome Saurabh Somani and Dwapan Datta. We'll also be joined by Nitin Nayak, and this is going to be a wonderful, wonderful conversation because so many things are happening around in the world, and the epicenter of the whole world right now is, of course, the MCG and India, of course, taking on Australia in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. The entire series is at 1-1, but something went terribly wrong. Let's discuss on that. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. And let's start with Nitin, because, Nitin, India had a wonderful opportunity in the first session, but it looked like, they just went in with some zombie kind of a situation. And of course, look at, Sharon already sends us the message. 100% Kohli's mistake, basic thumb rule of cricket. Non-strikers call should be responded without doubting it. Sharan, don't worry, we'll take your comment in some time. Saurabh is already smiling, Dwapan is smiling, but let me take on the smiling Nitin to begin with. A very poor morning session for India. I mean, I suddenly thought for a moment that this could be 500 for Australia.
Yeah, the first over itself, right? The first over itself, Pankaj, bowled by Siraj, that went for 9 runs. Uh, Leg stump half volleys, down in pace. Almost told the story of his performance in the series. Out of rhythm, out of pace, not able to land the ball correctly. Even Akashdeep today, I thought had a poor day.
Correct.
And the fact that even for the last wicket, you had to rely on Bumrah, who came back and got that last wicket. That itself shows in such a desperate situation the Indian bowling attack is in, and it's sorry, and very poor and unimaginative, unenergetic captaincy also from Rohit Sharma. No
Correct, correct.
change, no interesting changes in fields. Uh, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing out of the box. If you compare Pat Cummins when that partnership was on between Jaiswal and Kohli, like a chess player, he kept on moving his fields, kept bowling short, changed the fields. In fact, the last wicket that they got of Akashdeep was brilliantly, constructed, having a leg gully, Nathan Lyon. So yeah, I mean, overall, very, very negative. Even the decision to go in for a night watchman despite playing
Hmm.
9 batters, that itself shows the kind of state that Rohit Sharma is in and the Indian cricket team is in.
A very valid point you have made, and even I was surprised when Akashdeep walked in, and I said, "अरे यार, हमने तो Washington Sundar को लिया था as a batter, and suddenly what happened about that whole discussion?" But Dwapan, is it a problem? You remember many years we had a problem that we didn't have an opening batter, so we had to try an Akash Chopra, then a Sanjay Bangar suddenly. Now that problem got solved, and suddenly for the last decade or so, we have been having a problem where we don't have a bowler who has the capacity or the specialization to clean up the tail of any opposition. It was something really very, very seriously exposed today as far as the Indian bowling was concerned, Dwapan.
No, it hasn't been for a long time. It is a it is a recent phenomenon because for a long time Bumrah and Shami were doing it wonderfully, and Bumrah keeps doing it. But the thing is, yes, here it is. Bumrah cannot bowl from both ends, and he
Hmm.
cannot bowl forever. So that is the problem. The problem with the others is that I don't know. Like the see one thing is we have to take into account that when a series goes on, normally the lower order of the home team
Hmm.
it often puts up a sturdier resistance. That is
Right.
because they are used to those conditions, and it is a normal phenomenon of test cricket for a very long time, that we know. But that but if you are vying for the WTC final and this desperate situation that we are in, we have to have bowlers who can run through the tail. But
Correct.
today the problem about the bowling was, after a point, the moment the score went above 375, there was almost a sense of resignation creeping into the in the body language and everything of the bowlers.
Correct.
They were almost giving up and waiting for it to happen. Like, and if you see Smith's dismissal, they were just lucky to get Smith. That inside edge, the way he was trying to push for the runs and he got out. If he was playing the normal defensive game, they wouldn't have got him out. So that is the
Right.
problem. You do not have that other than Bumrah, who can bowl that fast Yorker and all those things, and woefully out of form. Siraj is probably playing his last test match for a while now. I don't think they will keep him in the test team. He has to be dropped. There is no other alternative.
Right. Right. And
It's a
Kuldeep
sad
Shoran
say.
sends us, yeah, Kuldeep Shoran sends us a message. The best move the today is having 8 batter management still say night watch. But yes, we'll discuss about that. Nitin mentioned it. But before coming to Saurav, quickly, in fact, so Kiran Kumar says big minus for Indian bowling is Siraj. Dwapan just mentioned that one end Bumrah bowling is tie, not giving run. Other end Siraj is giving a lot of runs. It's like gully cricket. And if wishes were horses, we could have had Bumrah bowling from both ends. But before coming to Saurav, as I said, Nitin and Dwapan, a quick comment from you. There was a time when if a bowler is not doing well in a particular phase, there is someone who goes and talks to him. If Saurav is not bowling well, Dwapan, you will go, take it easy, do this, do that, and something comes up. This is very, very clearly missing, Nitin, in this Indian lineup where there is no conversation happening. I mean, just for the sake of broadcasters, it's okay, someone coming there. But the serious conversation like a Akashdeep going and saying, "Bhai, bhai, aisa karte hain, ye karte, wo karte," that's seriously missing, and that's what Test match cricket is all about. Nitin.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bumrah still keeps on having a word with the younger bowling partners from mid on, but I think there was just no coordination from the captain. Neither did he give them decent fields. He kept the point back. He kept the square leg back. Uh, the singles were very easily available, and on a large field like Melbourne,
Right.
the twos are very easily managed, especially if you have a batter like Steve Smith who can maneuver the strike. And what we also saw was Pat Cummins. What I mean, he
Yeah.
has, he has such great game awareness. He knew that he saw that the bowlers were flagging, and he just climbed into them. And I think what in the first session, what they scored at almost 4.5 runs an over. So
Correct.
which just took the sting out of. In fact, it was the second new ball was only 5 overs old when they took it yesterday, and they had all the chance today to get them out for maybe 360, 370, and still be in the contest, or
Hmm.
at least not get batted out. But once you concede 475, and with the batting lineup that we have, where a collapse is always possible, then I think it was game over once they got 475.
Yes, Sachin Nandode says we spend a lot of money and time watching Team India disappoint us. So much disgraceful. BCCI hopefully takes something out of this. Virat and Kohli need to go. Gautam Gambhir and Ajit Agarkar need to prove a point. Sachin, yes, it's a very consumeristic statement, but Test match cricket is different altogether. We'll discuss on this. Kiran Kumar says Siraj will be dropped even if Siraj takes 5 wicket all in the second innings. Okay, so Saurabh, I have a very interesting point for Dwapan, but before that, Saurabh, the whole let's have a look at Siraj's numbers. I mean, I was shocked that he was a part of this setup because I was sure that he should not be part of Melbourne's lineup, but he was still persistent with. Look at this, no? If you look at the overall stats, 35 matches, 93 wickets, pretty good. Home, an average of 37, away average of 28. सेना में देखिए आपका एवरेज वापस से ही हो जाता है और अगर आप बॉर्डर गवास्कर ट्रॉफी 2022 and 24 का comparison करें, it's no different as such. So Siraj, I mean, as a wonderful commodity, has he gone hooked on to the whole thing? Because I saw in the nets that Sahil and everyone, our correspondents sent us, he was trying to emulate Marnus Labuschagne and Steve Smith in the batting. अरे भाई तुम्हारा जो काम है वो क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं? So Siraj, I mean, and it just takes away the sting from the Indian bowling. Were you surprised at his inclusion in the side?
I was not surprised at his inclusion, but I did think that he could benefit from a break. Uh, I think Siraj is the kind of bowler who is a very rhythm kind of bowler, and
Mm-hmm.
he n- cannot, when he gets overworked, it it just starts falling apart for him. In a different format, but we saw this in this year's IPL, where he was playing for RCB at the start, getting smashed all over. Then he was benched for 4 5 matches. Then he came back and he bowled beautifully. So he needs a bit of break here and there. He's a workhorse, but
Right.
he's not as effective when and those numbers, I think you rightly said there doesn't seem to be much difference between last BGT in Australia and this one, but I think those numbers are slightly misleading. I think he has bowled a lot worse on this tour than he did in the last one.
Oh,
He's had less control, and especially this innings, the thing is he was giving way too many loose balls, way too many, and you cannot now even oh, I don't know if I am qualified to judge Rohit Sharma's captaincy, but the thing is, I feel it is a very difficult job to captain when your bowlers are spraying the ball all over the place. So you need to set fields for bad bowling, which is always very difficult to do. Because bad bowling means no field is enough. You need 15 fielders to protect if there is bad bowling, and that is what India had to contend with because there was too many loose balls. Now you look at what Australia did. Now
hmm.
this pitch is the most batting friendly one we have seen in this series so far. I think everyone would agree to that. And Australia still, kept at it. It was not as if the Indian batters got because, and that is why we lost those 3 wickets in a rush. Because if they had not kept at it, then वो एक wicket मिल जाता, and then थोड़ा सा उसके बाद again a partnership could be built maybe, although not if they
Correct.
send Akashdeep. So yeah, I was also surprised by that. I was surprised why not because of 8 batsmen, but because there were some 20 25 minutes left. Now you are
Exactly.
sending मतलब नाइट वॉचमैन भेज रहे हो तो 5-10 मिनट हो तो ठीक है, 20 25 मिनट्स के लिए यू वांट दिस गाय टू फेस अप टू बोलैंड कमिंस एंड स्टार्क, like that is unfair on Akashdeep, and that is shooting yourself in the foot because he can contribute runs lower down the order. When he comes in, when the ball might be softer, the bowlers might have bowled more overs and all that. He showed that in Brisbane he can. So you are needlessly sacrificing some lower order runs to get for what? No advantage in this, and you have so many batsmen. I thought, in fact, not even Washington Sundar. I thought Nitish Reddy would have been a great guy to send up the order, and
Exactly.
the reason is that I thought he could do a little bit of the Sam Constas job, which is hit the bowlers off their lengths a little.
Hmm.
He showed glimpses of being able to do that in all the tests that he has batted so far. He showed that he can bat up the order also. So I thought if he comes here, bat carefully for the remaining 20 25 minutes. Next day, you need to hit a bowland off his length. How do you do that? You do that with a Rishabh Pant or a Nitish Shetty type of batting in the Indian team lineup. And this was ideal to send Nitish Reddy in. So I don't know why Akash Deep was sent. It was slightly
Quite,
scrambled
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
for me.
exactly. In
Hmm.
fact, we have got some very interesting comments. Priyanshu, Rohit,
Hmm.
Shevran. Then we have Utkarsh who is saying Utkarsh wants to understand the rotation policies. We'll see that. But if I can get the Indian batting card and the Australian bowling card here, Dwayapan, game awareness is something which is very important. What Saurav mentioned, it is called as a blunder in chess. We recently had the World Championships, and these are blunders that sending maybe an Akashdeep and sacrificing a pawn for something which you're not going to get back. But the fact is, look at the game awareness in both sides. Where yesterday evening, when we saw the Alex Carey, for example, so Alex Carey was attacking because was there the confidence with Alex Carey? Even though if I am out, I still have Mr. Pat Cummins, Mr. Stark, and Mr. Loyan, who will add at least 40 50 runs. So that game awareness wasn't missing from the Indian camp.
Game awareness missing, as in the context that you are saying. I am not exactly getting that, but the point is, game awareness was missing in different quarters. Like the
Yeah,
biggest,
absolutely.
yeah, the biggest moment of lack of game awareness, or maybe mental exhaustion, was Yashasvi Jaiswal's run out. Like that was
Absolutely.
that was like, game awareness is too harsh a thing for me to say about Virat
Hmm.
Kohli, that he lacks game awareness. That is, but that was a more like, what happens, like, on there are times when players get older, just as your skills are sometimes on the wane, mental exhaustion also creeps in. That's why you will see that Tendulkar not getting a test 100 between 2011 to 2013. It was also
Right.
a lot about mental exhaustion. He used to get just exhausted when he used to reach the 60s, 70s, 80s. For Kohli, it is happening in the 25, 30s. Today, he was batting brilliantly. I thought, like, the way he applied, the way he kept leaving those balls, but that took so much out of him that for a moment, he just switched off. He just switched off and had that run out, and and then it was kind of played on his mind, and he played the shot that he had been avoiding for 2 hours. Like, I just thought, like, when that run out was happening, that Kohli
Hmm.
will probably sacrifice his wicket and let Yashasvi continue, because
Correct.
Yashasvi is the form batter, and he is closing in on 100. Everybody would have lauded Kohli, uh, despite the fact that India are in trouble, had he sacrificed his wicket. Uh,
Correct.
yeah, like you just imagine if the thing was, it was on the other end of the thing. Like, if he was on
Right.
80
Yeah.
and Yashasvi was
We
36.
will
So
discuss that
that,
because we have
yeah,
to discuss on
yeah,
that Dwapan very very in detail. As
yes,
Sunny sends us a comment saying, but it's normal to send a night watchman before Rishabh Pant. अरे भाई ऋषभ पंत अगर शाम को नहीं खेल सकता तो टीम में क्या कर रहा है? लोग पूछेंगे ना भाई. It is very simple common sense. आप legend से ऐसे expect नहीं करते हो. Sports fan says Kohli has been involved in a lot of runouts, and what Dwapan said makes sense because that mental exhaustion where the mind sends the message but the body doesn't react. Now, are we aware of such situations and we avoid even for someone like a Virat Kohli? Because discipline is a virtue, but maintaining that discipline is a human thing, and that is what completely we've kind of forgot. But somewhere, Nitin, coming to you, let's talk about an underrated player who is in the Fab Four, but generally we say कि नहीं नहीं, he's very fidgety, ये ऐसा ही है वैसा ही है. He's got 34 test hundreds. He's got the highest against India, Mr. Steve Smith. However untidy, however unconventional he might look, he took the game away from India. Complete kudos to a man who was struggling in the first two test matches, who looked like a bunny of Mr. Jasprit Bumrah, to someone who is dominating and taking the game away from you. Steve Smith, brilliant century.
Yeah, he was averaging 23 before that Brisbane 100. Through for the year, he was averaging 23, and his last few innings, I think, were all single-digit scores. So, uh, magnificent turnaround in form. They keep having this joke in the Australian dressing room that has Steve Smith found his hands? Has Steve Smith found his hands? I think he's found his hands. He's found his rhythm. He's seeing the ball big again, getting into beautiful positions. And he made the Indians bowl to him, bowl to
Yeah,
his strength rather. He played the pull well. He shuffled and he got enough balls on the leg stump to work them away. And big trouble ahead, in terms of Sydney and also Australia's other rivals. Maybe I don't know whether this is a fleeting one or this form will stay. But I think in Sydney at least, I think it's big trouble for India. I think he always bats well there,
mm-hmm.
uh, and he just looks the part now. I think we have been guilty in the past of bowling people back into form, and I think here's another case of that.
Yeah, that's called Indian hospitality. We always extend that to especially left-handers and to any opposition that comes our way, be it home or away. That's the speciality of Indian hospitality. Akash says it's painful to see legends like Virat and Rohit fail. They should have retired long back after the T20 World Cup. Fair enough, friends. Keep on sending your messages. Keep on sending your comments. What do you think about? Because we're actually having a very wonderful discussion, and all our panelists are giving some very interesting inputs on that. So coming to the partnership, Saurabh, 112 runs, and in that, Steve Smith definitely legend, no doubt about it. Whether we like his way of playing or not, and the best part is,
I love it.
yeah, I don't know, Dwapar, Nitin, and Saurabh. Sometimes, I feel he's also a commentator because he plays that shot and says, "Well played, good ball, this that." I mean, rarely we find such kind of people or players who actually talk while they are playing. So that becomes a problem with me also because off late, since many years, people don't call me to play because they say you're a commentator. So in one of the matches, I was reprimanded by the umpire because I was talking when I was playing. So I mean, these are professional hazards, but sort of 112, the 49 priceless runs from Captain Cummins. He is a perfect captain material, and the way he kind of guided and brewed that partnership was unbelievable.
Cummins is always, we know that he has batting chops. That's not a surprise, and he can and on a pitch where the pitch is also slightly flat, the bowling is even flatter. He was always a good candidate to get runs because he has a batting game, better than basic batting game.
Mm-hmm.
So not surprising that he got runs. One thing wanted to disagree with you, Pankaj, ki Steve Smith I don't think is underrated. I think he would be in the conversation for top 5 test batsmen of all time
Mm-hmm.
actually, because I don't think he's underrated at all. He's a absolute legend of the game, and that fidgetiness makes him so unique to watch. No, it just makes it. And one thing is that he has prospered. Obviously, he's getting into beautiful positions, like Nitin Bhai mentioned just now that he is. But one thing is that he has made all these runs when he has come in after a few overs have been bowled. He has not come in against the new ball. So uh, to maybe know whether Steve Smith is back to absolute peak pre 2019 Steve Smith, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
maybe if we get a few early wickets and then he comes and plays this, no, then it'll be absolute peak. See, he's a legend, so anyway, even if his peak was right here, so even if he falls a bit, it'll still be here, which is way above average. So
Sorry,
he
but Saurabh, his
uh,
lowest peak is also dangerous for India.
yes, no, he's not at his lowest for sure. He was at his lowest before India came. So
नहीं lowest peak नहीं lowest तो
हाँ
ठीक है मतलब peak में भी वो छोड़ा नीचे भी वो इंडिया के लिए
हाँ
भारी पड़ रहा है.
yeah. So as soon as he comes in after like 20 overs or something, so then he's a lot less troubled and he can get into his game and flow a lot more smoothly, and that's what has been happening, right? Like
Right.
although McSweeney and Khwaja didn't get so many runs, but they had soaked up balls, which he mentioned also in Brisbane, that he was very
Yeah.
grateful to them and Marnus that they soaked up a lot of balls so that he could come in at a more favorable moment. And this same thing happened here. Constas just belted the bowling around and ensured that he had a really great platform to come in. So if India want to get the better of Steve Smith, early wickets, मतलब actually this is true for everything because Travis Head के लिए भी है, Steve Smith के लिए भी है. So basically Jasprit Bumrah needs to have a 3-wicket burst in his first spell. Then there is something that
नहीं तो
can happen.
सौरभ just imagine, gentlemen, if his duplicate also comes back in form, Mr. Marnus Labuschagne. I mean, that will be nightmare for India, and it is going to be. It will take really. And Kiran Kumar says that the Indian bowling unit is completely out of confidence, low on confidence, and that is what is hurting us. But Dwapan, coming to the Indian captain, looks like in fact Rohit Sharma has now settled into a mechanical captain, a process-oriented captain. सामने जो होना है हो जाए, हम तो ऐसे ही चलेंगे. And that is taking a toll. We had also a comment. If our team can put that comment up, or I'll quickly read that, and then I'll throw it to Dwapan. But yes, Rajesh Gupta says I counted at least 18 seconds between Jaiswal hitting the ball and the stumps. Rajesh, you maintain this comment because ये point हम लोग आगे लेंगे, इसके ऊपर बहुत serious और active discussion होने वाला है, and you please be part of that. But coming to Rohit Sharma, the umpire ना mechanical है, चल रहा है, सुबह आना है, शाम को जाना है. Is that, you know, there was no, I mean, no creativity on the part of Rohit Sharma. Is it the end of an era?
See, I think this is Rohit Sharma's last test match. I win, lose, whatever. I will be very surprised if Rohit Sharma plays in Sydney. India will most probably be out of WTC final reckoning by then. It is almost
Oh,
75% certain because the way the Pakistan South Africa game is also going, it looks like India will be out of reckoning. And I seriously think the way he has been conducting himself, Rohit Sharma, I think
uh-huh.
this is his last test match. I will be very surprised if he plays
Ooh.
after this, unless he gets a 150 in the second innings, which is very unlikely. Thing is, he has lost his game. It is not what on the basis of what we are seeing here. We had seen him in two test matches against Bangladesh and three against New Zealand at home, where he was struggling against average pace bowlers on Indian conditions. Like he was struggling. He was struggling. Today, that shot that he got out to Team Saudi in Mumbai playing the same shot.
Yeah.
So so his his game is has withered. It is a sad truth that his game has withered. We have seen this happening to great players right from 1992 to 1999 to 2011. Careers of great players ending in Australia, and we are going to see the end of Rohit Sharma after this test match. That I believe it is almost done,
Yes.
sealed and delivered.
Yeah, Priyanshu, Dwapan has just answered your question. Dwapan says that Rohit may not play at Sydney. And before coming to Nitin, Dwapan, did you get a feeling that this is something similar to those days when Kapil Dev was pushed to complete his 431 Richard Hadley's record? You remember that series against Sri Lanka where it was Kapil Dev's ball was not reaching. He finally got that record, and then the era ended. Do you think some similarities?
See, Kapil Dev, whatever you say, Kapil Dev, that wasn't for a very long time. Like even
Right.
before, about
Ah,
6 months before that, in the Hero Cup final, he got Brian Lara out. Like he
correct.
got two wickets. So we should not be so kind. We should not make such comments about Kapil Dev.
Hmm.
Yes, he might have got one series extra at home to break that record, which he deserves. Tendulkar
Right.
also got a year extra to get that 100th 100. So it is fine, but for these guys, what is there? What is the immortal record that is dangling in front of them? Nothing. It is just
Correct.
their desperation to cling on to their spots, and the selectors' inability to take tough calls when it comes to stars. They always find the low hanging fruits like Ashwin.
Right. Well said. Well said. And Kuldeep Sharan says Rohit has always been an average test player, but just 2 years into the test, he has don't know on what basis he's named the captain. Come on, in the Sena countries, Rohit's average is right in front of you. In England, probably he has had the best, and New Zealand, but otherwise Australia and South Africa always he has had the problems. But moving now to the next captain, and of course, talking about Rohit Sharma, in this thing, average of 5.5 is something really very, I mean, it just hits you. When home test he has a 51 average, away test he has a more or less 31 average. But this Border Gavaskar Trophy 2024 has been a forgettable one as far as Rohit Sharma is concerned. Now, moving on to Nitin, I think that just and adding that ball which Pat Cummins bowled to KL Rahul, peach of a delivery. We saw him getting, a wicket earlier also in the earlier test. How does he do that? The ball is very much on that off middle line, and it just clips that top corner of the stump and the bail. I mean, isn't it beautiful to watch? It's simply extravagant.
Yeah, he's, as I said in one of my earlier shows, he's the Roger Federer of fast bowling in the modern era. You know, aesthetically beautiful, beautiful action. Uh, he and what always, what always excites me, or when I watch him bowl, is he never loses his length. He may lose his line, but he never loses his length. And if you see the wickets that he got of Rohit Sharma in Adelaide,
Yeah,
the second innings dismissal, where he got similar kind of delivery, but I think this one was pitching middle and hitting off.
yeah.
So and this was of a set batter and an informed batter. So I think this was definitely one of the balls of the series that he's bowled. Um, what do I say? I mean, he's just a perfect fast bowler who now understands his body, who understands his game, and who understands the opposition. Just a little bit about Rohit Sharma. I just wanted to make this point that
Uh-huh.
in the World Cup, we kept hailing him as this selfless captain, selfless captain, selfless captain. Who ignored landmarks and who set the tempo for the game. Yes, all that is fine, but in this Test match and in this series, asking an informed opener to drop down and asking a promising youngster to drop out of the side so that he can be accommodated, a batsman who is horribly out of form but who has got the chance to be in the team only because he's captain. I think
Hmm.
it smacks of nothing else but selfishness.
Interesting. Nitin, just to quickly add, Rohit and Priyanshu have got some statements. But what Dwapan also said is it the mental exhaustion which is now impacting Rohit? The mind is giving the signal, but the body is not accepting.
No, in his case, I don't think it's mental exhaustion. In his case,
I
I
said
just
about
think,
Kohli. I said about Kohli. I
Yeah,
didn't
of
say
course. So
that
is
about
it
yeah.
also the
Rohit.
same with
Yeah.
Rohit? Yeah, Dwapan. Yeah.
No, I don't
No, no,
think it's
no, no,
about.
no, no,
It's with
no.
Rohit. In his case, I think it's just his eye is gone, his reflexes are gone,
Okay.
and I think maybe after the T20 World Cup, also a bit of the desire, maybe, to keep going. And
Oh,
um, I don't know whether he may get the chance to stay as one day captain also if India loses this series very badly, and because he doesn't look like scoring runs.
but I think he's already
And
been announced as the captain for the Champions Trophy. Am I right? No.
No,
has he?
no,
No, I don't think
no,
so.
no, no,
I
no,
don't
Not
think.
yet.
no.
Okay, okay, okay.
No,
Fair
not
enough.
yet.
I was just trying to verify that because I thought he was
Yeah.
already. He said Champions Trophy, but I think BCCI had said that Champions Trophy will be played under Rohit Sharma. Uh,
No.
No, no,
no,
no.
not yet.
But
Okay, fair
officially
enough.
तो squad announce नहीं हुआ है तो
ठीक है चलो तो मतलब at least I'll be happy if that doesn't come true or whatever it is but within it's an interesting point, a desire point that you mentioned now. Saurabh, there was a lot of intent and desire when Jaiswal and Virat were playing the first two wickets. I mean, they were playing pretty well, and there was a time when both Kohli and Jaiswal were kind of rotating strikes, and there was that second session after lunch. Both of them were really comfortable. I mean, it looked that they will really go. And I thought Yashasvi missed a very important century. He was there at the doors. He should have got the century.
yes, I mean it's a pity he missed it. See, so we should come to the elephant in the room, which is the run out.
नहीं नहीं
So
नहीं रुको रुको अरे वो तो बात करेंगे
अच्छा
then I'll end,
अच्छा
end,
वो
end off.
बाद में.
हाँ नहीं नहीं just give me 2 minutes. I'll engage all of you. Let's talk about the good things. And the partnership was good, yeah. I
No,
mean, we
so the
should acknowledge
partnership
that.
was great, and I thought Kohli showed more discipline. Now, whether how much of that is attributed to a more benign pitch and how much is attributed to his willpower, there's no way to quantify. But it
Hmm.
definitely looked like he showed a lot more discipline. He was leaving a lot more. He was, and he hardly went fishing outside off, except for the ball that got out. I remember one shot where he did his trademark, stepping out and cover driving, which was to a ball that was quite outside off, but that he nailed the cover drive nicely. Although I still would have preferred if he hadn't even gone for that, because it's been
Hmm.
such a problematic thing. But I remember just one like that, and then the one that got him out. So he definitely looked really good. And Jaiswal, the thing is, Jaiswal, ever since that century in Perth, in Adelaide, he got out first ball. Now you can't say much
Yeah,
about the form of a batter if he's getting out first ball, and that too, वो काफी अच्छा था. Means it swung in and everything. It was a difficult first ball to get first up. In Brisbane, he got out second ball. Again, he really middled it, and it was just a. I mean, it was a bit of a careless shot, I guess, because you have to be aware of where the fielders are. You can't just instinctively go for the
exactly.
flick just because it's there. He middled it, but and he was not out in the second innings before the match was called off. So it's not like he has been out of form as such. At second innings in Adelaide also, he batted fairly well. I think he got a fairly good ball when he got out. So he has been in form. So it was always, I think, on the cards for me that if he manages to get through that initial period, which is uncertain for every batsman, he has a good chance of making a good score. And then once he gets into his stride, then he has a very good chance. And he looked really comfortable. Didn't look troubled by any of the bowlers. It was not like he
Right.
was not it like this was it was different from a Marnus Labuschagne 50 that we have seen in this series, where you can see this guy is working for it and getting. Jaiswal
Hmm.
was easing through. So that was yeah, I like both. And if I can just go back to Rohit,
Huh.
it is remarkable how steep his fall has been. I was just looking at some numbers today, and till the end of the England series at home, which finished in March, Rohit, actually, if you made a current test 11, Rohit would have been everybody's opening choice. He from the time he started opening till that England series, he had the most runs as an opener. In matches that Rohit played, his average was 50 plus, 50 point something, and other openers' averages in those matches was 37, 38.
Mm-hmm.
He was scoring centuries and 50 plus scores at a much quicker rate than other openers are doing. So that entire period, if you count it as a chunk, he was outperforming the average opener by a significant margin. And we have seen that, like, he has had great knocks across, and we should not minimize the knocks in India, especially the previous England series. Also on a very spiteful turner, he got some 160 or something. He batted
Chennai.
beautifully.
Hmm.
Chennai, right? So so it is this is March, right? This is 9 months ago. And from the Bangladesh series, it is what, 7 months ago. And within 7 months, that fall has been just off a cliff. and
Hmm.
and that's a little very, a bit startling to see. But it is a definite fall. And if it does end up being his last test match, so then तो हो गया कि 5 IPL ट्रॉफी जीतोगे तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में लास्ट टेस्ट नहीं खेलोगे, रिटायर हो जाओगे.
I mean,
So
when Australia is, and also what you mentioned about, so Rohit Sharma, what happens, gentlemen, is that there is a fall. You're driving and suddenly, boom, there's a gorge,
hmm,
and you go deep down the valley. I remember this Indiana Jones movie where the fall is very, very deliberate in order to float. But that's not happening with Rohit Sharma. Saurav
नहीं,
Sharma
वो
says no chance of
फ्लोट का
Rohit announcing. हाँ एक मिनट ये
फ्लोट
मैं
का
पढ़ देता हूँ
अटेम्प्ट
अच्छा
था टू कम up the order, right?
करेक्ट
And that also, I don't know, like, in Adelaide, you said that KL Rahul, I was going to call him Rahul Dravid, but KL Rahul is your best, is your best opening choice right now to partner Yashasvi, because he has played really well in Perth. Okay, so he opens in Adelaide. He does decently okay in Adelaide. He does even better in Brisbane. Then what is the logic to push him down the order when in Adelaide, when Rohit is back, you are still opening with KL Rahul? How are you not? I mean, I don't understand the logic behind it. If Rohit has to bat up the order, then he should have come at 3. Not opening, because Rahul has been your best batsman
हाँ
in the series. So yeah, that just didn't make sense to me.
क्या करे a lot of things are
Hmm.
not making sense for Indian bowling batting in this entire series. But Saurav Sharma says no chance of Rohit announcing his retirement before the Sydney Test. He will give a last shot at winning the Sydney Test and hopefully qualifying for WTC final through some help from Sri Lanka. Dopan, this I think should be directed to you. You said he should not be playing or he may not be playing. But ये मतलब क्या बहुत ज़्यादा Indian hopeful fans हैं कि मतलब कुछ तो होगा. Rishabh Jha says good discussion by the way. Thank you friend, thank you Rishabh. Do you think Rohit is taking the place for granted? I mean his average dips down, still he is playing. So Dwapan, people are saying no sir. आप जो कह रहे हैं वैसा नहीं होगा. There is hope. There is also hope after hope.
हाँ, hope रहेगा. First things first, Pakistan has to help India by winning this test match against South Africa. That is your first chance of hope. Then
Correct.
probably you will have to save this test match, which looks more than unlikely. So there are reasons why I am saying it. I am not just swinging my bat in thin air, but I'm just trying to come to a logical conclusion as to why it could be Rohit Sharma's last test match, because Rohit Sharma is taking up places of very important players in this team at the moment. He is taking up Shubman Gill's spot. And if he is failing the way he is, and India does not have a chance of playing the WTC final, then
Mm-hmm.
Rohit Sharma, being the human being that he all said and done is a good human being. The little that I have known him and seen him over the years, he's a
Absolutely.
good human being. And I do not think that if India does not have a chance of going to the WTC final, and if he plays the way he is at the moment, no one knows better than him that he is playing poorly. So
Correct.
yeah, so if that happens, I will be very surprised if he goes on to play Sydney, because there is no reason why he should be blocking that spot of Shubman Gill. That's why I'm saying.
Absolutely. Then you're right, and that's the reason why such a wonderful interaction with our panelists and our viewers right now. This is what Beyond the Boundary is all about. And now is the time, gentlemen, and all our ladies in the viewing section, that we talk about the self-destruct mode. Nitin, we have this thing in the armies and the air force, that if you land in enemy territory and if you get hit, there is a self-destruct mode in your plane. You should not be sharing your technology with the others. Of course, self-destruct mode we have seen in movies, but I saw a self-destruct mode building up, because there were a couple of occasions when, in fact, Virat Kohli gets a ball, he just kind of nudges it towards backward square leg. He just starts running without looking at Jaiswal, and he's watching Nathan Lyon dive and throw the ball. There was another occasion when there was a like tutu meme nana ha ha kind of thing, and then something absolutely kind of shocking happened, and I'd like to get the three of you into discussion. बेसिक थंब रूल नितिन सेज कि नितिन आपने शॉट खेला, मैं नॉन स्ट्राइकर एंड पे हूं, आपने मुझे बुलाया तो मैं भागूंगा by blocking the stumps and I will just trust you. That run out, Nitin, was one of the turning points of this game, and unbelievable that this happened.
Yeah, and also considering the fact that Yashasvi would have been running to the danger end, and Virat would have been running to the non-danger end. So I just did not. It may have been a tight call, but considering the way and the fitness and the speeds that Virat has, I think he's still the fastest runner of twos with the pads on. I mean that's been statistically proved. So I think. It was just I don't know why he looked back. That's where some precious seconds were lost. And also, I think this is where I think the senior junior divide probably has come in. I think Yashasvi, knowing that Virat is a senior player, probably felt compelled to sacrifice his wicket. Whereas I thought that, and considering that he was closer to his century, I think he should have allowed Yashasvi to bat on, and Virat should have sacrificed his wicket. I
Correct. But
think
there
this
was
is
no
where
need
the
of
senior
correct. And
junior
Nitin,
divide. I think, yeah. Once that error of judgment happened, and once he knew that there was a run out on, I think Virat should have sacrificed his wicket.
correct. And Dwapan also mentioned this. So there was no need to sacrifice. होने नहीं वाला है. लेकिन सौरभ, ये क्या बात है यार? So Spotify Zone, we'd like to know your original name. If that run out was not there, there could be century from Jaiswal and probably Kohli also. सौरभ, ये क्या हो गया यार? मतलब अभी क्या हो रहा है ना? Everyone starts looking for गलती, किसकी गलती है? अभी विराट कोहली की गलती है तो है, लेकिन क्या मानेंगे इसको?
No, I mean, it's rare that I disagree with the my fellow panelists on the show, but in this case, I think uh, मतलब दोनों की गलती थी एक हिसाब
अरे
से. I
सौरभ.
think I'll explain why. I'll
ओके
explain
ओके
why.
ठीक है.
So Jaiswal, the way he hit the ball, I think he hit it pretty well,
Well, yeah,
and
yeah.
he hit it to Pat Cummins, who, as we have just discussed, he's extremely athletic. He's extremely good on his feet. He was running in hard, and ये situation जब है, जब ball is close by, then actually, according to me, both ends are danger ends. So I know the call is technically Jaiswal's, लेकिन it would have been a risky run for Kohli. Now, Jaiswal was walking into the shot and with the momentum had come a few steps. It's much easier to accelerate from there and go. Kohli, I think the mistake he made was, he was too lax
You
while
looking at,
watching the ball.
yeah.
Yeah, so he was a little maybe slow in that, and so by the time, and maybe he should have just given a loud call of no, but because he had turned around, he didn't know that Jaiswal was charging down so he, that was, I think, Kohli's that error
So
he made. Lekin
yeah. So
no,
yeah,
but I
Saurabh.
think I think no, I
Amar.
see, we say ki ball watching is not on, lekin this ball watching bit, we see it highlighted only when there is a run out like that happens. My feeling is, now I don't have footage for this, but my feeling is that if we see batsmen on ordinary runs, for the
Hmm.
first few seconds they will all be watching the ball because they need to know where it is going and at what speed it is traveling.
अरे
It's
नहीं रे.
just that वो बिना
नहीं
देखे कैसे भाग सकते हैं.
नहीं नहीं, अरे क्योंकि देखो मैं बता रहा हूँ, सी रोहित हियर एग्रीज विद यू कि ये 90%
हाँ,
जायसवाल का फॉल्ट था. अभी क्या
हाँ.
होता है बेसिकली कि दोनों डेंजर एंड है या नहीं, इतना तुम दुनिया भर का बात करते हो तो चिल्लाओ नो वे, शाउट यार, स्टॉप
So
इफ यू नो, तो शाउट एंड स्टॉप योर पार्टनर फ्रॉम कमिंग. ही हैड इनफ टाइम टू गो एंड यू नो इट्स द ट्रस्ट फैक्टर यार. यू जस्ट प्ले दैट एंड यू नो आंखों ही आंखों में इशारा हो जाता है एंड टर्न. इतना दुनिया भर का सिंगल्स आप चुराते हो, यहाँ क्या हो गया? वाज इट also was it
I
kind
think it
of a
was the
lack of kind of
miscommunication was
reflex
that
action from
no,
Kohli?
the disconnect was that Jaiswal thought there was a clear run in it, and Kohli thought
हाँ.
there was clearly no run in it. So
तो बोल
he
दो ना.
didn't
नहीं,
even.
वेट इतना इतना हिंदी इंग्लिश मराठी में तुम बोल सकते हो,
No, no, it's
बोलो.
like if the ball is going directly there, you don't always say wait or something. No, Marnus Labuschagne says that every time. No run,
हाँ
no
तो
run.
सीखो कुछ, मारना सर
See,
स्विमिंग से सीखो कुछ, आप बोलो.
lekin, yeah, so that is why I'm not saying that it is one person's fault or not. I think it was a collectively bad
Okay.
moment for India, and that obviously I'm sure that was playing on Kohli's mind also, because
Definitely,
all that
definitely.
discipline he showed just suddenly disappeared, which can happen when you're distracted. That time you go back to your instinctive game, and that is what he did. If it had been smooth sailing, if that run out hadn't happened, or if, let's say, he had turned around, he had just said no, it raised his hand, Jaiswal had stayed where he was, I don't think we would see Kohli fiddling outside off stump, and which means we
अरे
wouldn't see
लेकिन
Akashdeep coming out, which means India would still be
yeah,
one
so I'll
down,
take the
two down.
veto
Sorry.
call from I'll take the veto call from Dwapan because Nitin
Yeah.
very clearly said Virat had to sacrifice his wicket. Saurav Sharma says both are at fault. अरे भाई ये कैसे हो गया? Jaiswal risky run ले रहा है, which took Virat by surprise. अरे come on यार, I mean this is a bit too much. These are my views. Kohli didn't shout no. So अभी क्या हो रहा है? Nitin said sacrifice करना चाहिए. Priyanshu is saying, is it T20? What
By
was
the
the
way, ये
part of
सौरभ
the
शर्मा
risky
मैं
run?
नहीं हूँ, खाली नाम
नहीं
सेम
नहीं
है,
सौरभ,
even
आप
though
तो
is
सौरभ सोमानी है.
हाँ नहीं, even though the opinion is the same, मैं नहीं हूँ वो.
No. So Saurabh generally thinks alike, is that the case? But but yes. So Saurabh Sharma, our viewer, is answering to Saurabh Somani, our panelist. But final veto, Dwapan, मुझे तो 100% कोहली का fault लगा. अब ये 50-50 तक आ चुका है. Whatever it may be. I mean, risky runs are taken every time. Why should be a T20? It can be taken everywhere. But that was the turning point, do you think, of what happened after that to India?
Oh yes, like if that hadn't happened, India would have been 175 for two most probably at stumps. That's how it was shaping up, and fantastic day tomorrow tomorrow in the offing. So
Hmm.
it was a complete turning point. It changed the entire dynamic of the of the day, at least of Indian batting. Like it changed the mood. It changed the way the game will be played from here on. Everything. And yeah, Saurav was absolutely right that Kohli played that shot because that run out had happened. So it was probably still playing on his mind. And that mental fortitude, that mental the tightness that he had shown till the moment before went away. And he for the first time in the innings he played a shot like that,
Correct.
fitting outside the off stump. He was showing that Tendulkar discipline of Sydney that we have been talking about right from
Yes.
the beginning. And he was hanging on, like we had seen a significant change in his batting approach. Also, he was hanging inside the crease. He was not going too much forward the way he has been. That also because there was less swing. So, but still, he was making a conscious effort. But
Hmm.
that moment absolutely destroyed him mentally. Like he was obviously tired. He was obviously mentally tired going into that moment because he had concentrated so much and taken so much on himself since yesterday.
Correct.
Those are the things where he is going wrong. Those are the things where he need not do all those things. But anyway, well, that's what it is. And yeah, that moment absolutely changed it. And I agree with Nitin. Whose fault was it? Like all of you have made your own points. Like I
Huh?
won't get into that, but I agree with Nitin on that count. I had said that before also, that he should have sacrificed his wicket.
Correct.
He should have, because Jaiswal was the better player at that
Correct.
point.
And Rajesh
He's the
Gupta
better
also.
player at this point rather. Yeah.
Correct, correct. And Rajesh Gupta also concurs with you, Dopan, because he said he actually counted 18 seconds. That is, I really like about all our viewers. I mean, they are smart, they really get into the game and help us in a discussion. 18 seconds between Jaiswal hitting the ball, going to mid on,
Yeah.
he running, Kohli saying no, Pat Cummins throwing it at Alex Carey's end, and the round happening. 18 seconds, that's huge. That's huge. 18 seconds are a lifetime, and that led to that useless round led to 3 wickets falling. And that brings us to the final segment of our discussion. Gentlemen, today so much has happened in this test match that we can go for another hour discussing about it. That's the beauty of test match cricket. But then we'll come to Nitin. Nitin, Dwapan also mentioned about that point where Virat Kohli lost it out. And then, but do you think it was also a good design by Pat Cummins? Because look at the match awareness of Pat Cummins and company. They know now this guy is vulnerable, and they made him do what he was not doing all throughout the innings. This is Test match cricket. I mean, the meltdown of Kohli and the match awareness of the Aussie side.
Yeah, I mean the way I think he maneuvers his field. I also just since you asked me a question about Pat Cummins earlier
Huh.
about his bowling, I'll just make a small observation here. Even the
Right.
delivery to Rahul that you mentioned,
Huh.
that absolute Jaffa, the ball before that delivery, he had bowled him a bouncer and he had kept him on the back foot, and the next ball was that delivery where I think his feet kind of, he was not quite expecting that fuller length ball at that moment. He thought there would be another bouncer coming. Also, it was the last over before tea,
Yeah.
so so all that was also playing on his mind. But yeah, coming to the field, if you see when like England, like Ben Stokes, what he does when he sees nothing happening, um, he asks his bowlers to bash the pitch with the short ball theory, asks for a leg side field, generally takes the batters out of his comfort zone and
Right.
makes him think that there is something else on the way. This is what Pat Cummins did today. He asked Kohli to uh, play flick on the leg side, had him jumping for a couple of deliveries, just basically asked him to get him out of his bubble. And I think this is what good captains do. And this is and when he saw that Kohli was probably disturbed after that Yashasvi run out, he got back Scott Boland, who has, I think they were showing a stat on Fox Sports that he's bowled to him 73 times and he's got him
Mm-hmm.
out 4 times. And of those, and how much that off stump channel troubles him, they showed that of those 73 balls, only 7 were hitting the stumps. So, so,
Oh,
so I think they keep all those little things in mind and go for their prey, and I think that's why they're such a great team.
that's the art of hunting, Nitin. You said it right. That's the magic of fast bowling. You build it up. It's by design. And Utkarsh Bhatt is asking, what's the difference between bowling rotation strategies of the two captains? I'll take this question, Utkarsh. There is a huge difference where there is a strategy in the Australian camp and there is no strategy in Indian camp as far as rotation of bowlers is concerned. That's what I may say. But finally, there was an observation, and I like one by one to take your final comment. Saurabh, because of all these things that are happening, Virat Kohli is not able to handle the pressure. Even today, when he got out, while he was going back, the people were booing him and he got irritated. Now, that's something that is extremely difficult. And for someone like a Kohli not being able to handle that because he gets instigated immediately. Now, is it playing on his mind?
No, I doubt that the boos or whatever from the crowd would play on his mind. Uh, I don't know if the boo was accompanied by some abusive
See,
slur
exactly. So
thrown
now, of
his way.
course, yeah. So probably we can
And
say
when he was walking
be
back,
yeah.
then he might the Dilly inside him might come out and but I don't think otherwise. Like he got greeted by boos when he walked out to bat. Also, he got greeted.
Correct.
He was booed when he was fielding the ball. Also, but he batted really well until the ball he got out. So I don't think the boos are affecting him as such. And Virat Kohli, at least history tells us that he is one of the best at handling pressure. So now whether his game is the same as it was, I don't know. But
Hmm.
pressure wala to I don't know if all these external things I don't think will matter so much to him.
Interesting. Gopan,
Hmm,
he's human after all, and
hmm.
that reaction as he entered the point towards getting the pavilion. I mean, I felt something, and I've not normally seen Kohli kind of react like that. So, does it happen to humans when they're troubled?
No, Kohli has a history of reacting. It's not that he doesn't react. He has a bit of history of reacting, but yes, like it is a kind of sense of that it's going away from him. Everything, the world is against him. And today when he came back, obviously we don't know what was said, whether it was an Indian fan or an Australian fan. It could well have been an Indian fan, because
Yeah, yeah.
everyone would have felt that the day was killed for India by Kohli. Yesterday he was
Right.
Australia's villain. Today he is India's villain. There is
Hmm.
absolutely no doubt about it. So it could well have been an Indian fan also. So yeah, that's the thing. Like yeah, ideally a player of his stature should be able to deal with this and
Yeah.
walk off. But this is who he is, and he reacts. He reacts.
Yes.
That's what who he is.
Yeah, pretty well. And then, of course, Test cricket is full of characters. If there are no characters, then there is no fun in Test cricket. Final round of questions to all of you, starting with Nitin. Your expectations for tomorrow? 5 wickets down, India. आपका मतलब नीतीश रेड्डी, जडेजा और वॉशिंगटन सुंदर पर भरोसा है?
This is their chance to prove that they've got their team selection right. Right. This is why they were picked. That they're now having a longish batting lineup. This is why this is the chance now for the all-rounders to show that yeah, they are in the team for the right reason. And I doubt it. Even if India score two, if India get bowled out for 240, 250, I doubt it if
Hmm.
Australia will enforce the follow-on. I don't think they will. I think they would bat for a few more hours and give the fast bowlers some more rest, and then ask maybe India to chase 550, 500 or whatever on a day 4 and day 5 pitch. Because on day 3, this wicket will still be quite good. So
Correct.
I don't think they'll enforce the follow on.
Interesting. Saurabh, how close can India get to Australia tomorrow?
देखिए, in an ideal world, India will add 110 runs and take full 2 sessions to do it, and become all out at the stroke of tea, and then Australia do enforce the follow on, and then India bat for 6 sessions, and then Sydney में जाके the tired bowlers का advantage लेंगे. but
ओके अच्छा, तो आप आगे की मतलब सोच रहे हैं
हाँ,
कि और आगे
make them tired now क्योंकि turnaround time short है ना, 2-3 दिन ही है between
Yeah.
So, okay,
Third
so
MCG
Jan.
Saurav
and CG.
Somani, yeah, Nitin?
3rd Jan, no? The
Third
match is
Jan,
on
yeah.
3rd Jan. Yeah.
So yeah, 3 days, 4 days turnaround time.
No,
So
no, no, Saurav,
basic,
you're planning for the next year. Do you realize that?
yes.
So Saurav Somani, you are getting a statement from Saurav Sharma, our viewer. India has to score 400 minimum to remain in the game.
No, so
Akash was, yeah,
realistically that is true. 400 नहीं, at least 350 तो बनाने का ही
कम से
है,
कम.
because yeah, because I agree with Nathan bhai. I don't think they'll enforce the follow on. So
Hmm.
India needs to basically now, they have picked a batting heavy side and make that count now, and go till 350 at least, and then spend as much time as possible doing that. Make Australia force the pace of the game by coming out and batting and trying to set a target. And then, yeah, either if the target is achievable, see how it goes, or just bat out the draw.
Correct. फिर अगले साल देखेंगे जो भी होगा वो.
फिर अगले साल देखेंगे, या
अच्छा
इस
देखेंगे.
ईयर का
द्वापायन जी,
अप्रेजल
जी,
खत्म.
कवरेज. ओके. द्वापायन जी, आपकी भविष्यवाणी क्या है कल के लिए?
See, Rishabh Pant being there gives me a slight sense of a hope, because the wicket is kind of the ball is old, wi- and he has this ability of taking the context out of the window. That is one beautiful thing about Rishabh Pant. But I think India, if they bat brilliantly, they will get around 280, 290, 300 maximum. That is,
Oh,
if they play out of their skins, and then Australia will bat for 3 sessions, score 250, give India 475, and win by 275 runs.
Asha, she already prepared the so Dwapan has already prepared the storyboard for the next 2 days. That's fantastic. So brilliant, brilliant gentlemen. In fact, Akash has got something for us, but we'll take it tomorrow. Friends, we'll be back tomorrow just after the match because it's a weekend. Akash says, please let us see among the 4 panelists who wants Virat and Rohit to take retirement from test matches one by one. Akash, you really are creating a professional hazard for us. आप बाद में बाहर मिलिए, मैं फिर आपको बताता हूँ. But we'll take this on as the test match goes. But brilliant inputs from Nitin, Saurabh, and Dwapan. Thank you very much. As usual, you have been fantastic panelists, and it was a real discussion and real long discussion, right? And we hope that tomorrow also we get so many happenings, so many points to talk about that we can talk at length about the day third play of the test match between India and Australia. Till then, gentlemen, thank you very much. This is Pankaj signing off from Beyond the Boundary.
Thank you.
Thank you.